So I came up with 4 criteria that I think are required for quote-unquote something to be called a project. So let's have a look at those 4 criteria. The first one is this thing that we have to do needs to be specific, cannot be vague. For instance, I'll be talking about walking as an example a lot during this course. If you say, I want to walk more, for instance, that is not really a project. It's not specific enough. It's the same with being healthier. I want to be healthier. It's a goal, probably, but it's not really a project until you really define exactly and specifically what you want to achieve. So that's the first thing. The thing that we want to do cannot be ongoing. It has to be a one-off with a start, a finish, and after it's completed, we move on, we do something else. I'll come back to this one. The 2 other criteria I think would make sense to you. To be a project is something usually that requires planning. If you just do something without any plan, and if you can do it anytime, then that's not really a project. And the last criteria, it's a little bit intuitive as well, and it's a bit related to the one before but requiring planning. It has to be large enough. Just want to elaborate just a tiny bit on the one-off, because as I mentioned, it's something that people struggle with sometimes. Let's say you're part of the Olympic Committee review. You review bids from different cities, and those cities submit bids to you to host the next Olympics. So that's your job. You're doing this day in, day out. They come and go, and it can be the bid for the Rio team, it could be for the Tokyo team and the Paris team. So you're doing this more or less on an ongoing basis. Is that a project for you? I don't think so. This is what is being called a business as usual or BAU activity. On the other hand, each one of those teams, like the Rio team or the Tokyo team, they have a project because it's something new for them that requires planning, it's very specific, and it's once off. Once it's finished, then they move on. They have a start, a finish. So I think that explains a little bit more, if you like, the difference between ongoing and project activities. Another example, very quickly, it would be, let's say you're part of an IT team and your job is to make hardware maintenance, and you do that all year long. As soon as there's a problem, you fix it, or if a server needs upgrade, then you upgrade it. So for me, this is business as usual. This is not a project. That doesn't mean it's easy, but you do that day in, day out. On the other hand, if your company decides to upgrade all the servers on site, and they will allocate a project manager usually, if it's very big, to ensure that all the tasks are coordinated. It is not because an activity is complex that it has to be a project. It can be very complex, but it's BAU ongoing, so it doesn't fit the criteria of being a project.